I was standing in front of him, about to choose something I hadn't chosen in 5 years, something I thought I was done with. And then something in me broke. I panicked, froze, made him leave. I'm Kat. I'm 63, and I'm about to tell you about the night I remembered what desire felt like, and the night I almost lost it forever. Let me start at the beginning. In my 20s, I was magnetic. I knew it. Men wanted me, and I chose freely. No shame, no apology. I had an appetite for life, for pleasure, for the way a man's eyes could strip you bare without touching you. I loved that power, that aliveness. One man in particular, Michael Hartley. God, Michael, we burned hot for 3 years. I remember his body at 29, lean and hard from running every morning, smooth skin, dark hair on his chest that I'd trace with my fingers, the way his muscles moved under my hands when he pulled me close. Young, so young. We both were. I remember our first time together, a Sunday afternoon in his apartment, sunlight streaming through the windows, catching the dust in the air. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, and I walked to him, stood between his knees, let him look at me, really look. "You're so beautiful," he said, hands on my hips, voice rough with want. I smiled. I know, and I did know. I felt powerful, desired, unashamed. I reached for the hem of my shirt, pulled it over my head slowly, watching his face, the way his breath caught, the way his hands tightened on my hips. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I wasn't afraid to take it. That afternoon, we were tangled in sheets and sunlight for hours, laughing, urgent, young, alive. But I was young, and eventually, I wanted different things, stability, a future. So I left Michael and chose a quieter path. I met Robert when I was 28. He was steady, kind, good. Everything Michael wasn't. We met at a bookstore. He was in the poetry section, looking lost. I helped him find what he was looking for, a gift for his mother. We ended up talking for 2 hours. He asked for my number. 3 months later, he proposed. I chose loyalty, motherhood, respectability. My wildness didn't disappear. It just went dormant. I don't regret that choice. I loved Robert deeply, really, truly loved him. He was my partner, my best friend, the father of my daughter. Robert knew about Michael, asked me once, years into our marriage, "Do you ever miss it, that wildness?" I'd said, "I miss who I was, but I don't regret who I became." And I meant it. We built a beautiful life together, raised our daughter. She came when I was 30, changed everything, made me softer, made me fierce in different ways. My daughter was Robert's whole world. She adored him. They were so close. She was a daddy's girl from the moment she could walk. The years were good, quiet, full. Then came Robert's illness, pancreatic cancer. We had 10 months from diagnosis to death. 10 months of hospitals and treatments that didn't work. 10 months of watching him disappear piece by piece. I took care of him, bathed him when he couldn't do it himself, changed his clothes, held him when he cried from pain and fear and the indignity of it all. Near the end, lying in our bed at home, he'd refused to die in a hospital. He said, "Promise me you'll be happy. After. Promise me you'll live." I promised, but I didn't believe I could. He died on a Tuesday morning. My daughter was there. She held his hand on one side, I held the other. When he took his last breath, something in her broke. She sobbed so hard I thought she might shatter. I held her, held my grown daughter like she was 5 years old again. After the funeral, the world went silent. 5 years of that silence. 5 years of being the widow, the woman everyone needed to be strong, to hold it together, to be mom and grandma to her 2 kids, and the responsible one who handled everything. My body became a closed room. I stopped thinking of myself as sexual, stopped seeing myself as anything but grief and duty. 6 months ago, I was at the grocery store. A man smiled at me, just a friendly smile, and I realized I'd forgotten how to smile back. I'd become invisible, not to other people, to myself. But then, came my niece's wedding, 3 months ago. I was sitting at a table watching couples dance. A man, maybe 50, kind eyes, asked me to dance. His hand on my waist felt like fire, like something I'd locked away and forgotten about. When the song ended, he smiled at me, really smiled, like he saw me as a woman, not just someone's aunt, someone's widow. I excused myself, went home, lay in bed awake, my body humming with something I thought was gone forever. That's when I knew. The part of me that loved being desired, the part I thought died with Robert, it was still alive, just dormant, waiting. A week later, I was cleaning out the garage. Found a shoebox of old photos I didn't even remember keeping. I sat on the concrete floor and opened it. There I was, at 24, standing next to Michael, my hand on his chest, the look in my eyes, wild, hungry, unashamed, young, so young. I stared at that photo for 20 minutes. Thought, that woman is still inside me, somewhere. On impulse, I pulled out my phone, opened Facebook, searched for him. Michael Hartley. There he was, silver hair in his profile picture. Divorced twice, his status said, living 2 towns over. I hovered over his name for 10 minutes, my thumb shaking over the screen. What am I doing? This is crazy. I sent him a message. Michael, it's been 40 years. I found an old photo of us and couldn't not reach out. If you're ever up for coffee, I'd love to catch up. No pressure, just curious how life treated you. Cat. I hit send before I could overthink it, then immediately panicked. Closed the app, went inside, poured a glass of wine with shaking hands. What did I just do? What if he doesn't respond? What if he does? 2 hours later, my phone buzzed. I was in the kitchen making dinner I wouldn't eat. I nearly dropped the knife when I saw the notification. Kat, my God, I've thought about you over the years more than I should probably admit. Coffee sounds perfect. When? Michael. My heart was racing. I sat down at the kitchen table, stared at the message, typed and deleted 3 responses. Finally settled on Saturday. His response came instantly. Can't wait. I didn't sleep that night. Just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my whole body buzzing. What am I doing? What am I doing? The days leading up to Saturday were torture. I tried on 8 outfits. Nothing looked right. Everything made me look old or trying too hard, or both. I bought new underwear at Target, then felt ridiculous standing in the lingerie section. Put it back. Bought it again. Hid the bag in my closet like evidence. Saturday morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. Really looked. Gray hair I've stopped dyeing because what's the point? Lines around my eyes, around my mouth, loose skin on my neck. My body soft in places it used to be firm. Scars from childbirth. From life. What is he going to see when he looks at me? I almost canceled. Picked up my phone 3 times to text him some excuse. But I didn't. I got dressed. Simple jeans, a blue sweater that used to be Robert's favorite. Drove to the coffee shop with my hands gripping the wheel too tight. I arrived 15 minutes early. Sat by the window. Watched the door. Every time it opened, my stomach dropped. Then he walked in, and I saw it all at once. What 40 years had done. The silver hair where dark used to be. That lean runner's body, now softer around the middle. Lines around his eyes that crinkled when he smiled. But that energy, God, that energy was still there. That way of moving through the world like he belongs everywhere. And I felt something unexpected. Relief. He'd aged too. We'd both lived. He saw me. His whole face lit up. Walked over. Cap. He hugged me. I breathed in his scent. Different cologne, something woody and warm. But underneath, something familiar. Something that made my stomach flip. You look incredible, he said. I laughed nervously. Liar. I'm serious. He pulled back, looked at me. Really looked. You still have it. That thing. I don't know what to call it. Fire, I said quietly. You used to call it fire. That's right, he smiled. Those eyes, the ones that used to see through me. Is it still there? I didn't know how to answer that. We ordered coffee, sat by the window, talked for 2 hours that felt like 20 minutes. He told me about his life. 2 marriages, both ended. The first one lasted 7 years. We were too young. The second lasted 3. We were too damaged. 3 kids from the first marriage, all grown now. One's a lawyer, one's a teacher, one's still figuring it out. He's a retired architect, does some consulting work to stay busy. I told him about Robert, about the good years, about his illness, about the 10 months of watching him die, about the 5 years since, about feeling like I'd disappeared somewhere along the way. You didn't disappear, Michael said. You're right here. Am I? I looked down at my hands wrapped around my coffee cup. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm Mom, I'm Grandma, I'm the widow. But who's Kat? He reached across the table, touched my hand, just his fingertips on mine, light as air, but it sent electricity shooting up my arm. You're the woman who sent me that message. That took guts. I looked at where his fingers touched mine. Hadn't been touched like this, with intent, with something like desire, in 5 years, maybe longer. My whole body came alive under his fingertips. I felt my pulse in my throat. Michael, I said, not sure what I was going to say next. I know, he said quietly. Me too. We started meeting regularly, once a week at first. Coffee, then dinner, long walks through the park, conversations that went late into the evening. He made me laugh, made me remember what it felt like to be seen, really seen. Our second date was at a little Italian restaurant. We sat in a corner booth, and he told me about his marriages. I kept looking for what we had, he said, that intensity, that fire. Never found it. I found something different with Robert, I said, something quieter. I don't regret it. Do you ever wonder, he asked, what would have happened if you'd stayed? I took a drink of wine. Every day for 40 years. Something shifted in his eyes. He reached across the table, took my hand. This time, he didn't let go, just held it, his thumb rubbing small circles on my palm. I couldn't breathe. Kat, he said. Yeah? I'm really glad you sent that message. Me too. After our third date, dinner and a walk along the waterfront, he walked me to my car. We stood there in the parking lot, neither of us wanting to leave. The air between us was charged, heavy with possibility. Can I kiss you? He asked. I froze, then nodded. Couldn't speak. He leaned in, kissed me. Gentle at first, his hand cupping my face, then deeper, his other hand on my waist, pulling me closer. I kissed him back, my hands finding his shoulders, his neck. 40 years fell away. We were 24 and 29 again, urgent and alive. When we broke apart, we were both breathless. Wow, he said. Yeah. My voice didn't sound like mine. I should let you go, he said, not moving. You should, I said, not moving either. Finally, he stepped back. Good night, Kat. Good night. I got in my car. Sat there with my hands shaking on the wheel, my whole body on fire. Drove home barely seeing the road. Lay in bed, awake all night, reliving that kiss. Terrified, thrilled, alive. The tension between us built. Every date ended the same way, standing by our cars, kissing like teenagers, neither wanting to pull away. After our 5th date, we were standing by my car. The air was cool, October settling in, but I felt flushed, hot. He was looking at me in that way, the way that made me feel 24 again. I knew if I didn't do this now, I never would. Come to my place next time, I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. I'll cook for you. He looked at me, understanding exactly what I was offering. Are you sure? I wasn't. But I said yes. The next 3 days, I was a wreck. Cleaned my house twice, changed the sheets 3 times, bought candles, bought wine, stood in my closet staring at clothes that all looked wrong. On the day, I spent hours cooking. Pasta, red sauce simmering, garlic bread. I put on the black lace underwear I'd bought and hidden in my drawer, put on a simple black dress over it, looked at myself in the mirror. I can do this. I'm still that woman. I can do this. He arrived at 7 with flowers. Sunflowers, my favorite. I didn't remember ever telling him that, but somehow he knew. We ate dinner, drank too much wine. The air was electric. Every glance loaded, every touch intentional. My hand on his arm, his knee against mine under the table. After dinner, we moved to the couch. I poured more wine. My hands were shaking slightly. We talked about nothing, about everything. But we both knew what we were dancing around. I was sitting close to him, closer than necessary. I touched his arm when I laughed, let my hand linger on his knee. He noticed. His breathing changed. "Kat," his voice was rough. I leaned in, kissed him. Not tentative, not testing. I kissed him fully, my hand on the back of his neck, pulling him to me, claiming this moment. He responded immediately, pulled me closer, his hands in my hair, on my waist, kissing me like 40 years didn't happen, like we were still those people. I was breathless when we broke apart, my heart pounding so hard I thought he must be able to hear it. "Bedroom?" I asked. He nodded, unable to speak. We stood. I took his hand, led him through my house to my bedroom. We were kissing in the hallway, stumbling slightly, laughing. It was happening. This was really happening. We fell onto the bed. I was on top of him, kissing his neck, his jaw, his mouth. His hands were on me, pulling me closer. I could feel his heart racing under my hands. Or maybe that was mine. Everything was heat and want and 40 years of distance collapsing. I wanted this. I was sure. His hand slid up my back, found the zipper of my dress, started to pull it down. I was saying yes with every movement, every kiss. This is happening. I want this. But then his hands moved to really touch me, to undress me completely, and everything stopped. Not him, me. My body locked up. Panic flooded my chest like ice water. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All I could see was my body, my aging body under this dress. Loose skin where it used to be tight, stretch marks, scars, my stomach that's never been flat since having my daughter, my breasts that are nothing like they were at 24, nothing like what he remembers. He's going to see me, really see me, and he's going to... "Wait," I gasped, pulling away, scrambling off the bed. "Wait, I can't." He sat up immediately, concerned but not angry. "Hey, it's okay, we don't have to." "I need you to go." My voice was shaking. I couldn't look at him, couldn't look at anything. Just stood there with my arms wrapped around myself, feeling naked and exposed even though I was still fully dressed. "Kat, talk to me. Please," I was crying now. "Please just go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me stay. We can just talk." "No, please just leave, please." He stood, looked at me for a long moment. "Okay," he said quietly, "but this doesn't change anything. We're okay. You hear me? We're okay." I couldn't answer, just stood there shaking. He gathered his things, kissed my forehead gently. "Call me when you're ready." Then he left. I heard the front door close, heard his car start, drive away, and then I collapsed. I sat on my bed in my black dress and cried until I was empty. What is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? I wanted this. I wanted him. But when he touched me, when I thought about him seeing me, I caught sight of myself in the mirror across the room. Hair messed up, mascara running, still wearing the black lace underneath that now felt ridiculous. I looked pathetic. What was I thinking? That I could do this? That I could be that woman again? That part of my life is over. It has to be over. I tore off the dress, the bra, the ridiculous lace underwear, put on my oldest, softest pajamas, the ones that are basically rags, crawled into bed and pulled the covers over my head. That night, I didn't sleep, just lay there in the dark, replaying the moment over and over. The look on his face when I told him to leave, the confusion, the hurt he tried to hide. I thought about getting up, going to the kitchen, making tea, doing something, but I couldn't move. just lay there staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of shame pressing down on my chest. What is wrong with me? My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Michael. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. I didn't respond. What would I say? I'm broken? I'm too old for this? I panicked because I forgot my body doesn't look like it did when you knew me. Another text. You don't have to explain anything. I just want to know you're okay. I turned off my phone, pulled the covers tighter. Finally, around 4 a.m, I fell into a fitful sleep. I woke up at noon. Sunlight streaming through the windows, harsh and unforgiving. My eyes were swollen from crying. My head pounded. I felt hollow. I got up, looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Really looked. Every year written on my face, in the lines around my eyes, the gray in my hair, the looseness of my skin. When did I get so old? I thought about the photo, the one of me at 24 with Michael. That woman seemed like a stranger now. How did I think I could be her again? I couldn't eat, made coffee I didn't drink, sat at the kitchen table staring at nothing. My phone kept buzzing. Michael, texting. I ignored it all. That evening, I tried to function, made myself shower, put on real clothes, decided to go to the grocery store. Maybe being around people would help. Maybe acting normal would make me feel normal. I was in the produce section staring at apples when I saw them. A couple, maybe my age. He was pushing the cart, she was picking out vegetables, and they were laughing about something. He touched her waist as he passed her. Such a casual touch. Easy, comfortable. And I felt it again, that crushing weight, that knowledge that I would never have that again. I left the cart in the middle of the aisle, walked out, sat in my car, and cried. When I got home, I went straight to my bedroom, found that shoebox of photos again, pulled out the one of young me and Michael, stared at her, at me, that confident, wild, unashamed woman. What happened to you? I said out loud. But I knew. Life happened. Marriage, motherhood, widowhood. Years of being needed. Years of putting everyone else first. Years of my body being functional, not desirable. A body for feeding babies and caring for sick husbands and being strong for grieving daughters. When did it stop being mine? I sat on the floor with that photo for a long time, and slowly, something started to shift. Not a big realization, just a tiny thought. A question. What if I'm not broken? What if this isn't about Michael at all? What if this is about me? About asking permission from ghosts and daughters and society and everyone except myself. I put the photo down, stood up, looked at myself in the mirror again. This time, really looked. Not with judgment, not with comparison to who I used to be, just looked at who I am now. I saw the woman standing there, the stretch marks from carrying my daughter, the scar on my hand from where Robert's wedding ring caught my skin when I was pulling him up from a fall, the lines around my eyes from years of smiling, of crying, of living. This body has lived. It's earned every mark. But before I could sit with that thought, before I could really process it, my doorbell rang. I glanced at the clock. 6 p.m. Wasn't expecting anyone. Pulled on my robe over my pajamas, went downstairs, opened the door. My daughter. She stood on my porch, arms crossed, face tight. Mom, we need to talk. My stomach dropped. Honey, now's not a good time. Barbara saw you at Romano's with a man. Oh, God. Can I come in? It wasn't really a question. I stepped aside, let her in. She walked to the living room, turned to face me. 35 years old. My daughter. 2 kids of her own, married to a good man. But right now, she looked like a teenager again, angry and hurt and confused. Who is he? She asked. A friend. Barbara said you were holding hands. She said you kissed him goodnight. I closed my eyes. Of course Barbara saw us. Barbara sees everything. Are you dating him? I'm seeing him. Yes. Dad has been gone 5 years. Her voice was rising. 5 years, and you're already with someone else? I'm not replacing anyone. Then what are you doing? The words came out sharp, defensive. I'm living. She flinched. With some man Dad didn't even know? Someone I knew before your father. Her face changed. Shock. Something close to disgust. Before Dad? So you're just going back to your old life? Like Dad never existed? That's disgusting, Mom. The word landed like a slap. My voice went quiet. Cold. Get out. What? I said, get out. Mom, I'm just... Now. She stared at me, then grabbed her purse, walked to the door, paused with her hand on the handle. Dad loved you so much. I know he did. Now leave. She left. The door closing behind her sounded like a gunshot. I stood in my living room, shaking. Then I walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of wine, drank it in 3 gulps, poured another. Disgusting. She called me disgusting. I carried the wine to my bedroom, stood in front of the mirror, looked at myself. Really looked. And I spoke out loud. Needed to hear it said. Robert, I loved you. I will always love you. But you're gone. And I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I'm allowed to feel things. I'm allowed to want things. I kept looking at my body in the mirror. The stretch marks. The C-section scar, faded but still visible. The scar on my hand from Robert's ring. The lines around my eyes. This body has lived, I said to my reflection. It's earned every mark. And it's still mine. It's mine. And I get to choose what I do with it. I thought about that moment on the bed with Michael. The panic, the shame, the fear. But what was I actually afraid of? Not his judgment. He'd already looked at me with desire. Already wanted me, already made it clear he saw me as beautiful. Number 1, I was afraid of my own judgment. I was asking permission from Robert's ghost, from my daughter's expectations, from society's rules about what women my age are supposed to want, from everyone except myself. And suddenly, not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, like dawn breaking, I understood. The only person who needs to say yes is me. I wasn't broken. I didn't freeze because there's something wrong with me. I froze because I was standing at a threshold, and I'd forgotten I was allowed to cross it. But I am allowed. I am. I looked at the woman in the mirror. Gray hair, soft body, scars and stretch marks, and all the evidence of a life fully lived. I choose pleasure, I said out loud. I choose aliveness. I choose me. The next morning, I woke up clear-headed for the first time in days. Made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, picked up my phone, texted Michael, "Can I come over tonight?" His response came within a minute. "Of course. Are you okay?" Me. "I will be." Him. "I'll be here." I spent the day in a strange state. Calm. Purposeful. I showered, washed my hair, put on simple clothes, jeans, a soft sweater. No performance, no costume, just me. At 6, I drove to his place. The sun was setting, the sky streaked pink and orange. I pulled into his driveway, sat there for a minute, hands on the wheel. "You can do this. You can do this." I got out, walked to his door, knocked. He opened it immediately, looked at me with concern and something like hope. "Hey," he said. "Hi. Come in." I stepped inside, turned to face him. I panicked the other night because I was asking permission. From you, from my dead husband, from my daughter, from everyone except myself. He nodded slowly, waited, but I'm done asking permission. I stepped closer, close enough to smell his cologne, to see the silver in his stubble. I kissed him. Before he could respond, before I could overthink it, I kissed him hard, my hands in his hair, pulling him to me, claiming this, claiming him, claiming myself. He made a sound, surprise, relief, desire, and pulled me against him. Kissed me back just as fiercely, his hands on my waist, my back, holding me like he was afraid I'd disappear. When we broke apart, we were both breathless. "Are you sure this time?" he asked. Yes, I took his hand. I'm sure. I led him through his house to his bedroom. The room was dim. Evening light through the curtains turned everything gold and shadow. I turned to face him, This time, there was no hesitation. I reached for the buttons of his shirt, slowly, deliberately, watching his face as I undid each one. His breath quickened. His hands moved to my waist, uncertain, waiting for permission. "Touch me," I said, not a question. "I want you to touch me." His hands tightened on my waist. I slid his shirt off his shoulders, ran my hands over his chest, softer than it used to be, gray hair where there used to be dark, skin looser, his body carrying 40 years the same way mine did. And I found it beautiful. Not in spite of the changes, because of them. This body had lived, just like mine. He reached for my sweater. His fingers found the hem, paused, looked at me. I nodded. He pulled it over my head. I stood there in my simple bra, nothing fancy, nothing lace, just me, and let him look at me. "You're beautiful," he said, voice rough. This time, I believed him. We moved to the bed. It was different from 40 years ago. Slower, more intentional. There was fumbling, clasps that didn't cooperate, bodies that didn't quite bend the way they used to. We laughed. It was awkward and imperfect and real. But underneath the awkwardness was something deeper. Recognition, connection, presence. I was fully here. No past, no fear, no shame. Just this moment. Just choosing. Just being alive in my own body again. When it was over, I was overwhelmed. Not by what we did, but by what it meant. I chose this. My body, my choice, my aliveness. Afterward, we lay tangled together in the dimming light. I was trembling, not from cold, from the enormity of it, from feeling after so long like I was inside my own body again. "You okay?" he asked, brushing hair from my face. I laughed, and it came out half sob. I forgot what this felt like. What? Being wanted, not needed, not depended on, wanted, desired, like I'm a woman and not just a role I play for everyone else. He pulled me closer. "You were always a woman to me, even when we were kids, especially now." I turned to face him, studied his face in the low light, the lines, the silver hair, the way his eyes looked at me like I mattered. I thought I was done with this, with feeling this way. I thought that part of me died with Robert. And now? Now I know it was just sleeping, waiting for permission, and I finally gave it to myself. He kissed my forehead. I closed my eyes. Felt my heartbeat slow. Felt myself settle into my own skin in a way I hadn't in years. I wasn't broken. I never was. I just forgot I was allowed to want, to take, to choose. Over the next few weeks, Michael and I fell into something. We saw each other once, sometimes twice a week. Tuesday dinners at his place became a regular thing. I'd arrive at 6, we'd cook together, him chopping vegetables while I stirred sauce, brushing past each other in his small kitchen, stealing kisses. One Tuesday, about a month in, we were making pasta. He was opening wine, I was draining noodles, and he said, "You know what I love about this?" "What?" "How easy it is. How we don't have to perform. We just are." I smiled, set down the pot, walked to him. I love that too. He kissed me, slow and deep. The pasta got cold. We didn't care. But I realized something during those weeks. I wanted more. Not more of him, more of everything. I was in the car one afternoon, driving home from the grocery store, when I passed a dance studio. There was a sign in the window, "Adult Tango Classes, Beginners Welcome." I'd always wanted to learn tango. Always. But there was never time. There were always more important things. Kids, work, Robert's illness, life. I pulled into the parking lot, sat there staring at the sign. Then I got out, walked in, signed up for classes starting next week. The first class, I was terrified. Surrounded by people younger than me, more graceful than me. The instructor, a woman in her 40s, elegant and patient, partnered with me for the first dance. "Don't think," she said. "Just feel the music. Let your body remember how to move." I stepped, stumbled, laughed. "Good," she said. Again. By the end of the class, I was sweating and grinning and more alive than I'd felt in years. Walking to my car afterward, I thought, this is mine. This moment is mine. I started saying yes to things. A book club I'd been invited to years ago. A weekend trip to Portland by myself, something Robert had never wanted to do. I started wearing red lipstick again. Started painting again, something I'd given up when my daughter was born. I wasn't just reclaiming sexuality. I was reclaiming my entire self. My daughter called 3 weeks after our fight. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Mom," she said, stiff, formal, "can we talk? In person?" Okay. We met at a coffee shop, neutral ground. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table, hands wrapped around a mug. I sat down across from her. She didn't look at me at first, just stared into her coffee. "I've been thinking about what I said," she finally started, "and I was wrong." I waited. "I called you disgusting. I'm so sorry, Mom." "Why did you say it?" She looked up. Her eyes were red. "Because I couldn't see you as anything but my mother. I forgot you were a person before me, a person with a life and desires and needs." I reached across the table, took her hand. "And when I saw you with someone else," she continued, "all I could think was, she's forgetting Dad. She's erasing him. But that's not what you're doing, is it?" "No," I said gently. "I'm not. You're just living." "I'm trying to." She squeezed my hand. "I think I've only ever seen you as Mom, as the person who took care of us, who took care of Dad. I never thought about what you wanted, what you needed. I didn't know how to see you as a whole person. And now I'm trying. It's hard, seeing your parent as someone with their own life, their own choices. But I'm trying. That's all I ask." We sat there for a moment. Then she said, quietly, "Are you happy with him?" I considered. "I'm happy with myself. He's part of that. But I'm the source." She nodded. "Good. You deserve that. Thank you. Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "How did you do it? How did you give yourself permission to want something again?" I thought about it. I stopped asking permission from everyone else, from your father's memory, from you, from society. I realized the only person who gets to decide what I do with my life is me. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I think I needed to hear that. We finished our coffee, hugged in the parking lot. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. 6 months in, Michael said he needed to talk. We were at his place. Tuesday night. We'd just finished dinner. We're sitting on his couch with wine. He was quiet, nervous. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong. I need to tell you something." He set down his wine, turned to face me. "I'm falling for you, Kat." I felt warmth and a small flutter of panic. "I care about you too," I said carefully. "No, I mean, I want more time together. I want to introduce you to my kids. I want to take trips together. He paused. "I want something real, something committed." My chest tightened. This is real. You know what I mean. I want a relationship, not just this. I set down my wine, took his hand. "Michael, you've given me something I needed desperately. You helped me remember what aliveness feels like, what desire feels like. But what we have right now, the freedom, the choice, the lack of obligation, that's what I need. Maybe forever. I don't want to build a life with someone. I want to build a life with myself." He pulled his hand back. "So this is it? Just casual forever?" "I don't know about forever, but right now, yes, this is what I can offer. If that's not enough, I understand." "I need to think about it," he said. "Okay." A week later, he called. "I can't do casual. I'm too old to pretend I don't want more when I do. I think we should end this." I felt sad, but not devastated. "I understand. Thank you for everything." "Thank you too, Kat, for reminding me what it feels like to be alive." We said goodbye. No bitterness, no regret, just two people who wanted different things. 3 months later, I'm at a restaurant, eating alone. reading a book I've been meaning to get to for years, Poetry by Mary Oliver. I'm wearing a red dress, red lipstick, my gray hair down. I look good, I feel good. A man at the bar, maybe 60, salt and pepper hair, kind eyes, laugh lines, looks at me, smiles. I smile back. He stands, walks over. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had to tell you, you have the most captivating smile. I laugh, close my book. Thank you. Would you like company, or are you enjoying the solitude? I consider. I could say yes. I could say no. Both are fine. Both are my choice. Why don't you join me, I say. He sits. I'm James. Cat. We talk about books, about the restaurant, about life. He's a widower, lost his wife 2 years ago. Starting to figure out what life looks like now. I tell him a little about Robert, about my daughter, about learning to choose myself. That sounds like a journey, he says. It is. I'm still on it. Would you maybe want to have dinner sometime? Intentionally, I mean, not accidentally in a restaurant. I smile. Maybe. Give me your number. I'll think about it. He does. We finish our wine. He leaves. I sit there a little longer watching people. Couples, singles, families, everyone living their lives. I don't know where this will go with James. Maybe nowhere, maybe somewhere. It doesn't matter. What matters is I'm here, alive, awake, choosing. I pay my bill, stand, walk out into the cool evening air, drive home to my small house, my small life that's suddenly feeling very large. I wasn't young anymore, but I was finally awake again. And this time, I wasn't asking anyone's permission to feel alive.